Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for taking the time to join during lunch, essentially. My name is Huyen. I'm the Director of Elementary. Here shortly, Ann Powers, who's the Director of Early Childhood, will join us too if we have any questions at the end. So I'll kind of go ahead and get started about the transition from early childhood to elementary. The huge main difference is obviously elementary is a full day program. So our hours are from 8 to 3:15, Monday through Thursday. Friday is a half day. So the students will be here from 8 to 12, and you will get additional information about when carpool time is on Friday. But from Monday through Thursday, carpool starts at 7:35 to 8. And then afternoon carpool will start at 3:15 to 3:35. So that's the biggest difference from early childhood to elementary. The class is also led by an educator. So I know you guys are used to having a speech language pathologist lead the classroom in early childhood, but it will be led by an educator or master level educator. We do have speech language pathologist in each of the classrooms. And so they provide about 7 to 8 hours of group therapy a week. We also have a paraeducator who supports the classroom throughout the day. So it is a 2 to 10 ratio. We shift from the play pre-academic based instruction to academic based instruction. Of course, play is incorporated through recess. They have porch play where they can be imaginative. And of course, during center. So the day ends typically with center times. And so we do encourage appropriate play during that time, as well as problem solving. And then the language is supported through their child's day. So, the speech therapist will collaborate very closely with the teacher to target any language needs. So if they're working on reading comprehension, describing pictures or objects, the speech therapist will collaborate with the teacher to enhance the student's language. Additionally, students that are 6 years old or older, 6 years or older, are eligible to participate in an adventure play. So if you're not familiar with adventure play, it's actually right behind one of the cottages. And I know I am new to the parish school, but when I first saw it, it reminded me so much of Peter Pan and students being able to go out and explore, problem solve, play, navigate the social challenges. And so your child would be eligible for that if they're 6 years or older. And more information will come during curriculum night. And then also if you have further questions about that, Jill Wood, who is our parish librarian, is also the director of Adventure Play. Communication looks a little different as well. Hi, Ann joined us. We do use Cambu. So we will have teachers generate a storyboard typically once a week, and it's either teacher generated or student generated. And so sometimes we'll have students select pictures throughout their week that they want to describe to you as a parent, and that storyboard will come to you. Additionally, we have the portal where we do ask teachers to send monthly newsletters or weekly, depending on the news that they have. And this year we did do a little differently because they had Google Classroom due to concurrent learners, but we will be transitioning to the portal. So they do send monthly newsletters. And then emails. So since they are with your student all day, we still do ask that they respond to your emails within 24 hours. Additionally, you'll receive a monthly update in regards to their academic and social emotional needs. And so some teachers will provide updates on what they're doing for the entire month, as well as how your child is doing that month. Cambu also doesn't replace Good News. We do have our primary students either draw a picture or write a sentence of a good news throughout their day, and then they will send that home in the binders, so you are able to see that. In regards to our educational approach, we obviously teach the student based on their learning style. We obviously enhance their strengths, and it's individualized and differentiated for each child. We align our curriculum to the TEKS, so the Texas Essential Knowledge Skills. And so whenever we are teaching them, we're using TEKS and then also a multi-sensory approach. And then small group instruction. So I did want to offer that if you wanted to look, since we're not able because of COVID, we're not able to do classroom observations in person, but we are allowing virtual observations. And so if you would like to see a primary classroom, you would see small group instruction. So that can look a little different. They're grouped by level of academics as well as their social needs. And so, you know, in reading, they might be with the teacher one day and go through rotations with their paraeducator or the speech therapist. And so we do a lot of small group instruction as well. So here's a chart in regards to our elementary curriculum. Of course, we have the speech and language group therapy that I had talked about, and they do receive group therapy about 7 to 8 hours a week that target expressive language, learning strategies, social learning. In regards to the academics, it's a multisensory approach to reading, writing, math, science, social studies. We also incorporate the social emotional language learning program, so what is known as SELP here at the Parish School. And then they do engage in the integrated fine arts. So they'll get drama, music, PE, nature studies, technology, and library. So the primary level consists of both kindergarten and first grade level curriculum. So typically children will spend 2 years in primary. Some children can spend 3 years depending on their age and their skill set. But typically it is 2 years in primary. The age range is obviously from 5 to 8. And then just in regards to class placement, your child could be in a classroom with peers that he may know or he might not know. And it is a complex process in regards to grouping students in a classroom. So we look at the dynamic of the teacher, the students, the skill set, the social, emotional, and the behavior part whenever we are grouping students into a classroom. So at the beginning of the school year, obviously we work on routines in the classroom. And so, you know, we want to target learning how to transition, asking for help, waiting their turn, perspective taking, having some impulse control, communicating what they want in the classroom. And so we really spend a couple of weeks learning the routines and the procedures of the classroom. Developing independence, I had asked a couple of our primary teachers what they wanted parents to know of students transitioning from early childhood to primary level, and it's definitely developing independence. They want to have our children independent and to advocate for themselves. And then, of course, learning how to learn. And we do homework, and it's very minimal, but it wouldn't start until after October conferences. And so they may send home a level reader that they would want the child to work on, or any areas of focus, but it is minimal as well. Sorry, I don't know if that just messed up. Okay. So a typical day for a primary student is arriving and doing morning work. And so morning work can consist of several different things. I remember when I first started, a lot of students would come in and they would sign in. And so that was just working on writing their name. So that can look different. They might be spending their morning work working on an assignment that they did the day before. Transition time to the carpet for morning meeting and calendar. They'll have their academic centers and reading groups. And again, they are grouped with students on the same level as well as behavior needs. And then they would have snack and recess. So they do have an early morning snack. Social learning and learning strategies are done by the speech therapist. So the speech therapist will lead a group there, and then math groups as well. We also engage in cooking. We were unable to do that this year just due to COVID, but they are able to cook throughout their week if they choose. They'll have lunch and recess, and of course, integrated fine arts. Language arts is sometimes led by the speech therapist as well. And then this year, we incorporated reading intervention just due to COVID and how last year COVID required us to work or to teach remotely. And so we wanted to really beef up the interventions in regards to reading. So we do have reading intervention time as well as inquiry-based learning. So that's targeting science and social studies. And then we close the day with good news and packing up and carpool. So that's a typical day for our kiddos. In regards to the academic programs that we use, so just to provide a little information about it, and of course you'll get more during curriculum night with their teachers. And so for reading, a lot of our teachers in primary use the association method technique. And so that is a phonetic based multisensory teaching, and it's really for students with dyslexia. And so we are proactive in the instance that we know our students have learning differences. And so we incorporate association method, but we also use programs that are developed by NIHouse as well. And those programs are called reading readiness if the student is ready, and then language enrichment, which is a little bit more complex, but if they are ready for that, we would utilize language enrichment. For math, this year we started with Envision, which is our first year using Envision, which is a mainstream math curriculum. And it's also using visuals and a multisensory approach. And we are exploring one other option for math this year as well. And that information will come forth if we decide to use it. And the great thing about Envision is it does have interactive videos for the students to teach them the specific skill. In regards to writing, we do use Handwriting Without Tears to teach basic handwriting skills. And then, of course, we use technology. If students have difficulty with writing, we also want to incorporate other methods to write or produce their work. And so, of course, I also wanted to share that NIHouse also has, as they're teaching reading, they also incorporate writing. And so they are getting writing through other avenues of their education. So in elementary, we do assessments. The first one that we do twice a year is the MAP testing, so measures of academic progress. And that's done on an iPad here at the parish school, and it measures just where the student's at. It's orally read to them. It is 2 times a year in the fall and in the spring, so it will show and measure growth. It allows teachers to target areas of focus, but then also highlight strengths so we can challenge student strengths. So we do incorporate MAP testing. We also use the TPRI, which is the Texas Primary Reading Inventory. And this is a great assessment because it allows us to also identify strengths and areas of focus for your child. You may have heard of the DRA, and which is the Developmental Reading Assessment, or Fontes and Pinnell FNP, which is the reading level system where it tells you if your child's on level C, which is in correlation to a specific grade level. And so we do those also 3 times a year. So typically you would know the reading level in October, February, and May to show progress. And then also for us to be able to send home level readers that you can practice on at home with them. So we do those. And then progress reports do go out 3 times a year, October, February, and May. In regards to language, the speech therapists also do therapy care plans. So that will also be sent home during the time progress reports get sent home. And so they'll identify goals for the student in the classroom. And we formalize a system where they do standardized language assessments at least 2 times a year. So you can get updated information in regards to their language skills. So we know language is the foundation of all academics. And so I wanted to talk just a little bit about how language deficits will affect academics. So of course, in articulation, if you're having difficulty with speech production, you're going to have difficulty with phonological awareness, understanding letter sounds, in the beginning, middle, and end of a word, rhyming words, and that also will impact decoding and spelling. In regards to receptive language, if you have difficulty understanding language, you will have difficulty understanding directions, and that can lead to reading comprehension difficulty. So if a story is read orally to you, having difficulty recalling information and answering comprehension questions. Expressive language, having difficulty formulating your thoughts, that also will transpire to having difficulty writing your thoughts out. And then, of course, with pragmatic language, if you're having difficulty understanding social communication, you will have difficulty with perspective taking in a reading. So if you're asked to identify an author's purpose or the mood of a character, you'll have difficulty doing that if we don't target pragmatic language. So, of course, just like early childhood, our mission is the same: to empower children with the tools to succeed, just to grow, not to only grow, but to thrive. So we do have the same mission, and we do want to help your child. So to kind of prepare for primary school or primary elementary, we do ask that over the summer, preparing and practice packing and unpacking. I know the students in early childhood do carry a backpack, and so maybe practicing carrying that with their lunch pill in it and a binder, unpacking that in the morning and then packing it at the end of the day. We do ask students to be independent that way. Dressing independently. So again, if you do choose to go to adventure play, some of the students will change before they go out there because they might get muddy and dirty. And so we do teach our students to be independent and be able to dress independently on their own. And then also throughout their day, if they get dirty playing outside in the mud or the puddles, we do ask that you send an extra change of clothes for them. And then of course we'll help, but we do want to teach them to be independent on the activities of daily living. Managing lunchbox independently. And so during snack time, a lot of our students will say, oh, please help me open this. And we encourage them to find maybe an object that they can open it with. And so they'll immediately grab their scissors. And so we want to teach them to manage their lunch as well. Cleaning up their workspace too. Students to push in their chairs, clean off their tables. And then this one's a huge one, is increasing the stamina. So you are going from a half day to a full day. So maybe fading out nap time if they are still taking naps or rest time. So trying to fade that out as well. And then it's never too early to have your child start writing their name. I already started doing that with my niece, who was 3, and now she's 5. And I started working on that really early on with her. So it's never too early to start having them write their name, but then also identify their name. And you may have seen this chart before with Anne, and it's just the elements of a successful learner. So, we target all of these areas: communication, academics, their independence, like I had shared earlier, resilience, social competence, and competence as well. And that obviously we want to set them up for success, because we know that there is a life after Parish. And so we are going to target all of those things to make sure that they are successful after they leave us, wherever that may be. And so those are those areas in regards to a successful learner here at Parish. So of course, if you have any questions, you can email us, but I will open if anybody has any questions now for Anne and I. You're more than welcome to ask us. And then this recording will be shared as well. It's actually being recorded right now. So does anybody have any questions for us? And did you have anything to share that I may have missed?
Nothing that comes immediately to mind. You know, if as you're processing information, feel free to reach out. As Huyen mentioned, we're both available to you. I know that, and Huyen may have already said this, but I know when you originally came to Parish, you were all looking at our early childhood program. So we want to make sure that you feel comfortable with what is awaiting your child in elementary. So.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Please send us emails if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great day.